back or welcome to my channel. We just hit 700 supporters, and as a little thank you, I wanted to show you guys how to make these adorable cakes to celebrate with me and my dollies. So I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you sit back and enjoy the tutorial. So for this fun project, the very first thing you're going to be needing is actually a small jewelry box. This is what I use to work as the base of the cake. You can use the top or the bottom. Both sides work perfectly fine. You'll also be needing some lightweight spackle, and this can be purchased at any hardware store, and this is going to be used as our fake frosting for our cake. You'll also be needing a star tip. For my case, on my cake, I use star tip number 32, but of course, use any star tip that you'd like. I have a couple of different variety of ones here. You'll also be needing some craft foam. And the craft foam is going to be used to make our fake confetti for our cake. Pick any color paint of your choice. I usually buy mine at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. And then you'll also be needing some mini candles to put on top of the cake. If you don't have any piping bags, you can definitely use some Ziploc bags, but these I found at Walmart. You'll be needing a hole puncher. You can use any paintbrush. I just want to show you guys all the ones I had. A hot glue gun, and the last thing you'll be needing is some cardboard. So I know that my jewelry box is already white, but I decided to still go in with my acrylic paint and paint on top of it just because I felt like it gave it a really nice, clean, finished look to it, and I thought it just looked a lot better. So of course, paint it any color you want, and I'm kind of showing you guys the little bit of a difference that it gives it here. I just think it makes it look a lot better in the finished result. Now I am showing you guys how to make two different cakes here. So I used a brown paint that's also purchased from Walmart called Chocolate Bar, and it is the perfect shade of brown to look like a chocolate cake. Once you're done painting your cakes, let them dry for around 15 minutes, and now you can start doing little preparations while those are drying. So what I'm doing here is setting up my piping bag with my star tip, and I just tape it around in the front, and I'm grabbing my white spackle and putting it into another spackle container to help me mix it, because I don't want my spackle to be white. I want it to be pink. So to change the color, it's just as easy as putting in a little bit of paint and mixing it until you get the desired color and shade that you want. Since the spackle is white, let's say you want your frosting to be red, you're going to have to be pretty generous with the amount of paint that you're using. But a little tip for you, if you do this and you find that your spackle becomes way too thin, add in cornstarch or flour, whichever one you have, and this helps thicken up the spackle, because if it's too runny, it's going to make it really hard to pipe the frosting outside of the piping bag. Now that I've reached the shade of pink that I really like, I'm putting it inside of the piping bag, and make sure that you're putting it all the way at the bottom. You're going to want to push it down, that way it's at the very front of the tip. And to tie it up, you can use a rubber band. In my case, I just used a hair tie because that's what I had near me. And this just makes sure that you don't get any air bubbles while you're piping your fake frosting onto your cake. I'm sure you've noticed that the bag has already been reused, and yes, I do reuse my piping bag as long as it's for the same shade of whatever frosting I'm making it into. And now what I'm doing here is making a little cake board out of our cardboard. So this part is optional, you do not have to do this, but I feel like it just makes it look better and it kind of makes the cake look more professional. So I just traced it, made sure it was a good size around a jewelry box, and then just cut out the desired shape. I didn't necessarily follow how I outlined it because I kind of changed it up a bit, but yeah, you get what I'm doing. So I did go ahead and cut out that same shape for the both of my cakes, and then I painted it again with that same white acrylic paint that we used, and I'm just painting the both of them, and I also let those dry for around 15 minutes. Alright, after you've let them dry, I'm going in with my hot glue gun and just gluing all sides of the border. I realized that I could have just put the hot glue gun on the cake board instead of putting it on the box, but you know, I love making my life more complicating, so this is the way I did it. But yeah, just make sure you put enough to where it's really stuck on there, and don't be worried if you have some hot glue sticking out on the sides because it's going to be covered up with our frosting anyways. Alright, so now that both of the bases of your cakes are done, we can get on to the fun part, which is going to be decorating our cake. So here I am going in with my frosting, and I've said it previously in my last video of doing a little frosting DIY that this part can be tedious, so just take your time. It's okay, you guys. Like, mine is a little bit too thick. I could have used like some water. Another tip, yeah, if it's too thick, sprinkle in some water, like spritz it, but don't add a lot because then it'll become too watery. This spackling stuff can be kind of sensitive. Honestly, you want to be really careful with your measurements here. I don't measure though, I kind of just eyeball it, but yeah, I'm just frosting the bottom of the cake and then going around the top of it. But yeah, you can see I'm struggling a bit, but it's gonna be okay. It's working out in the end. And here it is, you guys. Look at our cute little cake. See, now we can get on to making our fun confetti to put on top of the cake. To make the confetti, I used my craft foam. That's why there's a bunch of holes. I only showed you how to do it with the purple one because it's pretty self-explanatory. Just go in with your hole puncher and cut out your little sprinkles that way. Now, I kind of waited a little bit too long to put the confetti in, so I did end up going in with my hot glue gun and just putting little dots and then placing my confetti in. That way, if your spackle is still wet, then you should be able to just easily place it on top of the frosting and then it'll stick to it. But in my case, it was dry, so I did have to go in with the hot glue gun, but it was perfectly fine because if anything, it's more secure this way, so either way it works. And now here's our cake all done. I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted to leave the top without sprinkles or add sprinkles, so I just started gluing on my candles. And you can see that I did cut them down to size, but after all, in the end, I did end up putting confetti on top. So yeah, just a little disclaimer there. But here I am now getting on to my chocolate cake, and you can see the frosting is piping on a lot better here. It's a lot smoother. I kind of learned from my first attempt. So you guys, you live and you learn. It's going to be okay. Alright guys, and now our chocolate cake is all done, so of course decorate it however you want. In this case, instead of using our foam sheets as confetti, I went in with some sprinkles that I made, and these sprinkles are made using polymer clay. I also showed this in one of my previous videos. I just rolled out a piece of clay, baked it in the oven, and I cut it down into the desired shape that I wanted. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And the frosting here was still wet, so I didn't have to hot glue it. I just placed the sprinkles right on top, and they do stick. Don't worry about them falling off, because if your frosting is wet, they're definitely stuck on there. Alright guys, here's our cake looking all nice and being sprinkled up. I decided to make a little cherry out of some white air dry clay, and the top of the cherry is made just using an eye pin. It's really self-explanatory, so I didn't show you guys how to make that part, but to stick the cherry on top of the cake, I just used our fake white frosting, and now our cakes are all done, you guys. I couldn't be happier with how they came out, and here's the pink cake with the little confetti on the top and the bottom. Wanted to make sure I showed you guys that, and here is the chocolate cake. And I love both of them. I don't know which one I like more, honestly. They both came out really, really cute, and I couldn't be happier with the results. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for clicking on this video and for staying tuned to the end. If you have any other tutorials you'd like to see me do, comment them down below. I hope you and your dollies enjoy your cakes. As always, thank you all so much for watching today's video. And once again, thank you all so much for the support you guys have been giving me from the very beginning until now. It means so much, and I seriously can't thank you guys enough. The word thank you just doesn't do it, but I love you guys and I appreciate you for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye everyone.